So, hey there.
Hi guys.
How are you doing? I'm Curtis. Nice to see y'all. You can also call me Beyonce Part 2.
Beyonce part two. Copyright infringement. I'm DeAndre, and we're just gonna talk to you guys today about some things that's just on our mind.
The main topic was just like the generational gap
Yeah.
in all of its forms. Honestly,
So,
do
do
you
you?
have something that you wanted
I mean, I think I'm gonna stop playing with this earring. I think with the generational gap, I mean, where should we start? Is I guess is my thing. Like,
Well, what sparked the idea for me was more so I was thinking about like specifically me, just people that I meet, people that I date, people that I hang out with. I've never been one to look at the age. Like, I don't
mhm.
ask, how old you are. More so, I just see, like, I look for personality in
And
somebody.
you talking about dating,
Not even just dating, just
just in general.
in general. Like, I've dated men, or I've seen men who are in their 30s, mid 30s. I've also hooked up with men who are my age,
So, do you
19, 20, or, mid 20s.
Do you think there's a difference in how they act?
Oh, there's a huge difference.
Okay.
Huge difference. Um, like, younger guys, you just have to be very aware that sex is the concern for most of them, and they're not necessarily thinking long term like they should be.
Mhm.
But at the same time, older guys, you have to really be a lot more cautious with the way that you approach them, because you never know. They can lie and make it seem like they're all about you when sex is really their hugest concern, and they're just more patient.
I think the problem with people in general versus generation gaps or not is that a lot of people truthfully don't know what they want out of life, out of friends, out of like
Mm-hmm.
someone who's older knows what they want, but that's not necessarily always true because there's tons of people that are older who don't know what they want. And also, when it comes to generational gap, there's a lot of people. When you talk about generational gap, it's more of a thing that people say about us as older people that are older than us. They think that we're completely different and we're we
I
don't act
think
like how they act.
I think yeah, the
Yeah,
older people are less
they
willing to accept or
us.
acknowledge,
Yeah,
what
and
we bring to the table.
yeah, yeah. Because like to them, to older people, like far as what they think music is, the music that we listen to now, older people are like, "What is that? Did she just tell me to suck a
Yeah.
penis?"
They'll point out the very superficial parts of it and
Yeah,
not necessarily hear the deeper parts of
yeah,
people's songs, or
yeah.
and then a big problem with that is
Which,
they'll put the less deep stuff on
which
the
don't
radio,
get it
but
twisted. I will be the first person to agree that music has changed from what it was before. How do you feel about that? Because I'll be the first person to say I think, like, okay,
thinking about it, yeah,
like,
there's a
okay,
difference between 1990s, early 2000s, and now.
yeah,
Um, and the problem with now is you have to really look for that music that has meaning.
mm-hmm.
And there's a
Because there's a
Black
lot
Eyed
of
Peas
songs out
song
there
that I
that ain't got no meaning. Let's just be
yeah,
honest.
for
Like,
real, Torque City, all that stuff,
yeah,
Cardi B's music. She said, I'm making the money. That's what matters.
right,
And I get that, and at least she's honest about it.
right.
There's a Black Eyed Peas song that I really, really love called They Don't Want Music. And it talks about,
Really?
it's with James Brown, and it's talking about they don't want music. They just want the bass. They want the thump, the boom. And from a younger perspective, I can really understand what he's saying, as well as from an older perspective, because when you're younger, you're thinking, I just want to feel the music, I want to enjoy
You want
the
to hear the beat?
vibes,
Yeah.
and all that. But also on the older side of things, you're gonna want some of that soul in that music.
Yeah,
Some of that spirit.
I think that is like exactly what you just said. Soul. I think that's part of what's missing from music that is currently out now.
Very much
Soul
so.
or feeling or um, just something that makes you want to listen to it. You know what I'm saying? Like back, I will say this. I remember when I was growing up and my mom would listen to some of the music that she would listen to, and like TLC, Luther Vandross, you know, just older music. And when you hear songs, like even probably you, if you hear a Luther Vandross song, you're gonna know the words, right? Because you grew up with your mom,
Listening to
yeah,
it.
yeah.
There's a lot of the. I don't know if my mom listened to Luther Vandross, but
But
I hear his name. I still recognize him.
yeah,
And you'll hear these legends' names, and they're instantly recognizable.
like because I know you're a big Whitney Houston fan.
Yes, I love Whitney.
See,
I hear a Whitney song, I know it's Whitney.
see,
Whitney is recognizable, and that's
And I
because
think-
these musicians would put their soul into it. They would put their energy into the music. They wouldn't just, even if they had someone else write the song, they were involved in the process.
yeah. And we're not saying let's go ahead and nip this in the butt because you don't want people coming for us. Okay, we're not saying that people that make music now don't put feeling and energy and
Oh
emotions
no,
into
none at
their
all.
music.
There are
We're
tons
just
of people
saying
that do. They just do it different.
Yeah, we're just saying that music is different. We're not saying that we have a problem with it. We're not saying, you know, music is just different. It's a different time. It's a different era.
Exactly. It
You know,
really
it is
just
what
has
it
to
is.
do with being a product of its time.
Right.
As everything is time. Everything's
Now,
just progressing.
there
You
is
gotta
one
be ready for
thing
that.
that I don't. That's weird to me. You know how back in the day songs used to be longer than 3 minutes. You ever notice that songs are like 3 minutes now? Like they don't make
the
songs.
average is 3 minutes for songs now.
They don't make songs that were like are like 5 or 6 minutes, and people don't talk in songs either. Like you know how some R&B songs that people would talk like at the beginning of the song they'd be talking or saying something. I guess people don't feel that personal about it no more. But like
I
you
don't
know,
think
Alicia
anybody-
Keys,
I think
she used to talk.
Oh,
she'd be like,
she used to put it all into her music.
yeah,
I do not think that. I feel like people are maybe a little bit scared to actually speak in their songs now.
yeah.
For whatever
Because people used
reason.
to talk in their music. Like if you listen to a CD or whatever, like people would talk. We're blowing up over here.
I have life. I have a life outside of this. I still put myself in to sit down and talk about things.
Well, since we're talking about generational things and stuff like that, I think the main problem with generational people is a lot of people don't like to communicate no more. Have you ever noticed that? Like, people don't like to communicate. Like what we're doing right now, people don't do no more. Because they're too into their phones or...
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
And it can be hard to separate yourself from when you're having that moment with somebody. Because this is a friend I've known for a very long time. And we've had talks like this all the time, just not always in front of a camera.
No. But we don't care.
It is what it is.
We're still gonna say
we
the
wish we
same
caught a
shit.
lot of that stuff on the camera. Because
We can't catch everything on camera.
to be honest.
Might be DeAndre and Curtis after dark or something.
Oh my gosh,
Just
that's
wait.
gonna be a different show. Anyway,
Yeah, well, right now, right
no,
now.
but younger people don't like to sit down and have conversation.
Like,
And I can respect where people want to keep their privacy, but you can still talk without spilling too much.
yes, you
Like,
can
you
have a
don't have
conversation.
to sit there and say everything.
Like, you can have a conversation with someone and not even get into personal details. I mean, I don't know, because I always tell people always tell me when I'm meeting new people, DeAndre, don't scare them away, because I will, like, they feel like I'm interviewing them. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not interviewing them. I'm trying to get to know them. Like, I'm asking them questions about where they live, what they do. And people think I'm always interviewing them, and I'm not. I'm just seriously like, okay,
legitimately
yeah,
trying to have a conversation
like,
with them.
and people
And-
be like, DeAndre, stop. And I'm like, I'm actually not saying anything. I'm just getting to know this. But I'm sorry that people don't do that
Yeah.
anymore. But I'm
The
actually...
problem is that people just aren't used to that kind of
Yeah.
energy,
They're
to
not
that
used to
kind
it.
of, someone walk up to you or meeting someone and having a
Right.
conversation with you.
Right.
Like, people will feel like they're trying to get... I can understand that, Like someone's just if it's someone random off the street, but if it's like you're meeting someone at a house, you and I just met for the first time. You're
Yeah.
asking me questions. I'll
'Cause-
recognize that you're trying to have a
Yeah.
conversation, get to know me.
Some people don't. People think, some people take it personal or think it's not take it personal, but like they think that some people automatically feel attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're asking them questions about their life, like if I was if we met for the first time and I'm just like, okay, we're gonna do a scenario, guys. Me and him just met. We ain't known each other for a long time. We just met. We at a party. We had a couple drinks. So we're just sitting there talking. Sip, sip. And I'm the type of person that I just ask questions. And I don't mean anything about it. So I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Well, good. See how closed off he was.
People get
that?
like that.
People already like that. But you gotta warm people up,
Sometimes you.
So, I'm like, oh, what's your name?
I'm Curtis.
Yeah, and then we're talking, and then we keep on talking or whatever, and then you start having a conversation, asking what they do, and then it's like, no offense, but it's gonna sound real shady, but you can always tell somebody who ain't part of their job, because when you get to the job section, like you'll be like, oh, what do you do for work or something like that?
Oh, they'll instantly be like, oh, well, I work, construction.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you're doing a job, be proud of what the fuck you're doing. I don't care. I don't care that you work at McDonald's. I don't care if you work at the store up the street, the gas station. I really don't care. If you're doing it and you're making money and you're living and you're able to breathe and pay your bills, and who gives a fuck? And that's another thing too. I think that older people sometimes make younger people or other people feel bad about the choices they make. Far as like older people in their mind, they have a setup of at this age you should be doing this, at this age you should be doing this.
I
and at
feel
this
like
age,
that is a huge part of the generational gap
and that you should be doing this. Let me tell you something. If I don't want to have a house and a car when I'm 25, I don't have to. Okay,
like I don't want to have kids. That's me. I can totally understand anybody that wants to have kids. I think that's very admirable and respectable, and to carry on your generation, your bloodline, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I'm not spending any of it. Nope, I'm good. Thank you. I'm good with kids.
That's
I'm
just
good
like,
with having a niece, a nephew, enjoying that with my family, and that's it.
For instance, okay, he lives in Virginia, DMV area. Okay, DMV area, for people who don't know, is Virginia, Maryland, DC.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I've lived here before too, but I'm from North Carolina. Okay, well, in DMV area, you don't really necessarily need a car. So, and the reason I went into that was because the whole generational thing where people try to, like, older people try to tell you need a car, you need a house, you need this, blah, 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 blah. This time, this time. No, I don't want to do all that. I think y'all should let people do things on their own timing. Mm-hmm. But on top of that, yeah, DMV area, you don't really need a car because you have the bus system, the train, you have Uber, Lyft, which Uber and Lyft is everywhere. Like, it's just now starting to get at my hometown, because it's a little country out there, but like in the actual city of my town,
you'll find one anywhere.
It's Uber and Lyft is everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody uses it. I think it's more of a thing up here in the DMV area because people hate to drive here, which the traffic is horrible.
The thing is, I think it is great to have a car, to have your own transportation. At the same time, speaking from experience in this area, it can be very frustrating. It can be extremely frustrating, especially because the drivers here don't know what they're doing. Yeah. I don't understand.
I ain't gonna lie, I took a couple of turns today. I don't even know if they was legal. I'm just being honest.
The thing is, people will do things like just not use their turn signal, simple things like that.
By the way,
cut you off for no reason.
I fucking hate that. Okay.
Oh, that's so stupid.
I'm trying not to cuss, but I really fucking hate. Like, I hate when somebody is turning and don't. And I cuss my sister out because when I get in my sister's car, she will turn or something and will not turn on her turn signals, and that drives me insane because I'm that person that's behind you, like, you stupid.
Be intelligent
mother.
when you drive.
Like,
whatever you learned when you were taking the test, in the class, all that stuff, take it seriously because it's serious on the road. Like, don't be out here being stupid like these ignorant drivers, because that will A, cause crashes, B, cause your friends and family to not like you at all or
I
not want to get in the car with you.
I can't stand it, and I think the reason I can't stand it is because the purpose of you using your signal
I
is to
think
let
we're getting
people.
really off track.
It don't matter. We just.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
about the generational gap. I think a big thing about that is the older people, when they were growing up, they had that blueprint for, like, this is what you do at high school, and this is what you do outside of high school.
Right.
This is, going to college, this, that,
'Cause
and the third,
I've had
step by step. And nowadays, it is very, very different with how things are done, and everyone's being more inclusive, and there's like a lot more acceptance of race, of culture, of sexual orientation, interest, LGBT, all of that stuff.
Right.
So with that comes inherent differences in the way everyone wants to live their life and change.
Right.
It's very hard for older people to accept.
I think it's hard for them to accept it because that's just what they were taught. That's what they know. Which I guess that's the same thing people say about racism and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily understand that one because I don't care what you was taught. You know the difference between right and wrong.
Oh yes.
Right
oh
wrong.
yes.
Everybody knows the difference.
If you see,
I don't
something,
give a damn if your parents was the KKK founder. You still know the difference.
You know
between
KKK,
right and
not
wrong.
a good thing.
So
it's common sense. If you
So,
see a Nazi,
generational
you
gap.
know they're a Nazi.
Generational gap is something that I think is. I think I'm gonna say it's a problem because older people tell you you should have this, you should have this. At this age, you go to college, get you a degree.
Him saying that, I will say,
let me say,
yes, you should go to college. Yes, you should get a degree. Yes, you should be an independent.
And he's saying
person.
that, and I'm sitting here telling you that I don't necessarily agree. And the reason I say that I don't necessarily agree, because at the end of the day, college is not for everyone.
It isn't.
Because
I will
there's
say
people
that you
out
should
here.
Progress your life.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because there's people out here who don't have no degree, who's making just about as much money or not more than some people who have degrees.
Yeah.
Now, and that's another thing too when it comes to jobs and different things like that. It really depends on who you know, on what kind of job you could get, or networking, making friends.
You want to network. You want to move. The basic point of the younger generation, I feel like, is that you can go places without following a blueprint. Yeah. You can do things and be successful and be happy without following this American dream blueprint.
I think the American dream has changed.
It has. That is something that everybody needs to accept.
And I think it's changed a lot because a lot of people have decided they don't want to do the rat race, which is,
What's the rat race?
The rat race is like, okay, people, they get a job, they work their job, they buy them a house, they get them a car, they working all these hours per week just to pay for the house and the car and all this other stuff that they probably don't necessarily need. And people don't believe in you never heard it called the rat race? But that's what people call it.
I saw something like that online.
Yeah, they call it the rat race.
I didn't know what it was until just now.
Just think about it, like, the rat goes get the cheese. They gotta make the cheese to,
I feel like you still have to have these things set up for yourself.
Whoever you are, you're rude. And why can't we put our... Oh, I like her, but still.
Anyways, I feel like it's really something that you have to figure out for yourself, but don't do it in a wildly unplanned way. Know your goals. Understand how to set up your own personal blueprint for yourself.
I think it's good for you to have your own goals. Like, you can listen to whatever your older generation has told you about what you need. What your older generation has taught, told you or whatever. But at the end of the day, you have to decide what you want to do. And that's important because, like, you can't go off somebody else's plans for you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. You can't just you understand yourself the most,
Right.
and you can still take on the wisdom that was given to you by parents, teachers, people that you looked up to,
Mm-hmm.
while applying it to yourself specifically and moving forward with that. I
Right.
think that's a good place to
Yeah.
kind of
Like
end the
honestly,
generational
yeah, I think
speak.
because it's just like you have to like it's really about you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like they can tell you that oh you should be doing this, Curtis, or you should be doing oh you need to go to college or you need to get a car. You know what I'm saying? I don't
Mm-hmm.
know why I'm saying it in that voice, but they can tell you all these things. But at the end of the day, you have to, you. It's about you. What do
Yeah.
you want? What do you
Yep.
want to do? Where do you want to be? Forget about where people are telling you you should be. It's about where you want to be, how you want to do it. If you want to go get a car, you can go get a car. If you don't, then don't.
It's that
Either way, you
simple.
still got to figure it out. You got to figure out what you're gonna do. So at the end of the day, we're not saying anything bad about anybody, anybody's grandparents, anything.
Yeah.
We think that the older generation can learn some things from the new generation, and the new generation can learn some things from the older generation. Like
Be open and accepting of
yeah,
learning and having these talks and discussions with
yeah.
people.
I think people need to learn how to communicate. Period, because I think a lot of people don't. They so busy
Very
with their
true.
face and their iPhone, they don't know how to communicate. And
Very
I'm not. That's not a dig at anybody. I'm just saying in general, like be okay with having a conversation and getting to know someone and being their friend and whatever. Because people assume now that if you're being somebody's friend, that y'all are fucking. Apparently, that's what people assume now.
Oh,
You can't
that
be
was like a
friendly with.
conversation. Anyways,
Yeah. Anyways,
that's
we love
our
you
talk.
guys.
That's our generational speak and moving forward with your life. I don't know how to do outros.
Well,
Peace,
follow us on
love.
social media: Snapchat,
Don't follow me.
Instagram.
I don't accept people. I'm private. What you mean?
Right. And I'm not gonna give you my tag or anything. Just find it.
If
Bye,
you really
guys.
want to speak to me, you can find me and speak to me. And then we
Right.
can talk in person.
Yeah, we can talk in public. Cause some people who YouTube and stuff, they be so bougie, and you be like, "Bitch, you just a YouTuber. Who gives?"
They do. They
Some of
do.
them act like they don't want you to talk to them for real. Like,
I'll speak to you, but speak to me in person.
yeah, speak to me, and don't feel like you gotta give me a compliment. They just say, "Hey, how you doing today?" Like, I would think that's lovely. So,
Well,
people try so hard, like to talk to people. Like, just say hello.
I'll let you end it right there.
So we're gonna say goodbye. Did you want to say anything else? You sure?
I don't know.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Be great, be you, and have a great day.